Hells.
The Sunday Spank.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh dear. Cheeky
Oh no, we
monkey.
have it live, so
Ain't it?
Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, we are back with a brand new Sunday Spank on this beautiful afternoon. I guess it's evening for you, right, Matthew?
Yeah, it's just after 7 o'clock in the PM.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And it's dark outside, and the clocks ain't even turned yet, so got that to look forward to.
yeah. So it's getting scary out there. Yeah.
Oh, it's spooky as heck, at least for another week.
Right on. So yeah, we are back. We're going to be talking about book 2, deluxe edition of Deadly Class, doing our deep dive. And like we were talking about before we got on air, man, trying to break down how we're going to talk about this because, dude, so much happens in this book. It is like 3 arcs of just kind of insanity and kind of, I guess you do get breaks, but like it's action packed. Like there is just so much just, like chaos and death happening in this book. So like we said, leading up to this show, and I have like in the actual name of the episode, like we will be having
spoilers.
I jumped out my skin. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Honestly.
Maybe I could tone the volume down on it.
Yeah, I didn't hear when I didn't have my headphones on when I listened to it the first time. Yeah, like R.I.P. headphone users, man.
I'll jot. It's a good test, though. It's a good test. Well, at least it gets people's attention. That's all we want. Well, you can't say we didn't warn you.
Yeah,
I mean, you could do the spoiler warning for the siren.
Well, at least we got your attention and you're awake now, Matt.
Is what I have. You know, but a little bit of cortisone and adrenaline. What a good way to start. YouTube video, right?
Oh, it won't cook you up too.
The thing is, you learn in those moments what type of person you were, because I just went backwards and closed my eyes.
So I'll put the volume down about 20% on it.
Flight category. In the flight category.
Yeah. Because we're gonna start using that we're gonna start breaking when we do reviews of like new books. We're gonna break it the episodes down into 2 sections. We're gonna do like the first half is just gonna be general, and then we're gonna break into full spoilers. So if people haven't read the content, like second half of shows will be full spoilers, but this episode we're going into spoilers right from the get-go. So if you guys haven't read this, just be warned, like Johnny says, we're not holding back. We're going to talk about every little thing, spoilers or not, of this book. So,
and just in case you get confused, I got a Chiron at the bottom. So
yeah, so fair warn, if we get any fucking whiny bitches coming at us about, oh, I didn't read the spoiler. We fucking put that big blasting, like fucking Matt shot himself, and we got the banner running at the bottom. So, I mean, you have no excuses. You have been warned.
It sucked out all my fluids back inside me. I'm lucky I've still got eyes in my head.
Yeah. All right. So let's dig into this. So we're covering, like Johnny said, this will be part 2 of our 4-part series that we're doing with Spanky. We call the Sunday Spank, and the first book we're talking about was Deadly Class. This is part 2. We'll be talking about the second deluxe edition of Rick Remender and Wes Craig's. I mean, I think it's safe to say it's a modern classic, a modern masterpiece of sequential art of comics. I think you could safely put that in a category that's considered a masterpiece. I think so, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's my second favorite comic of the last, probably of ever, but like, yeah, of the last couple of years, man. But like between like this and East of West, it's hard to pick like a personal favorite, but like it's right there between.
And I figure as much. Like, full spoilers. Like, I mean, this ran for 55, almost between 55, 60 issues total, somewhere around there.
I think it was actually 56 in total. Yeah.
56. So this book has been running for a long time, and it's finished now. So chances are, if you haven't gotten around to reading it yet, I don't know if you ever will, because it's been out for a while. So, I mean, we're going into spoilers. So, I mean, and if you want to read it and you don't want to be spoiled, just one last warning before we really dig in is it's going to be full of spoilers. All right. So part one, we left off, right, was in the auditorium. Master Lin was announcing, what's it called, the hunt for the rats. Rats are going to be hunted. Yeah,
it was the freshman final.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the final examination.
Yes, which means they get hunted, and that's their final exam. Is whoever gets to kill a freshman gets to.
Well, no, not all freshmen. It's the rats. There's certain
one that get the box with the rat carcass, the bones in it. They're the targets. So, yeah. So that's one of their assassin's tests to graduate with honors, right? And that's a big thing, is to graduate with honors. So this second volume kicks off after that announcement, and right away, first page. Boom! Those auditorium doors come open, and when they get kicked open, holy shit! This book kicks off with like some of the craziest action you'd ever seen, man. Like people getting their faces blown off, throats slit, machetes chopping people's arms off.
You got cheerleaders on roller skates doing cheers as they're just chopping people up.
Yeah, well, like they have razor blade pom poms. Like I don't understand that one, but whatever. So you have Petra and
Billy.
Bill, not Billy. Who's the main guy again?
Petra and Marcus. Yeah,
Marcus. Yeah, like brain fart there. Marcus come running out of the doors with everyone behind him, like running, and that's like the cheerleaders. What's the girl? She gets like a mace in the head. Where's that one with the girl? That's brutal too. She gets like the hammer or the mace to the head. I mean, there's a lot of brutal stuff in here. Yeah. I mean, that first section, it's the first.
It's the whole, pretty much the beginning of the first trade paperback. The first 2 or 3 issues is just mayhem. Then it kind of slows down with Marcus and hanging out, kind of.
Yeah, it's a kind of a hammer mace or whatever. That's brutal, man. Like, look at that. To the face. Like, is there a more brutal way to get assassinated than taking a fucking mace to the face? I mean,
that's a tomahawk.
So. Is it? Yeah, that's a tomahawk?
Yeah, that's what I
don't know. It's the gay dude that has it. Where did he get it? Where did the gay dude get a tomahawk, man? I don't think it's a tomahawk.
Well, it's not a mace, dude.
I don't know. It's like some kind of hammer. Look, it's the gay dude that has it in his hand right there. And he's the one who just smucks her right in the middle of the face.
I think it's like a pickaxe, isn't it? It's like a little pickaxe sort of thing.
Anyway, it's brutal. Regardless. Oh, yeah. The other guy gets a jackknife in the eyeball. It's just like Johnny said. I think it's the whole first issue is just like non-stop action, like just complete mayhem. And I see, it's a better picture now. I think it's the actual emergency axe that you have, for emergencies that are in the wall. Because he's running. You get in the next page, you have him running down the hallway, just screaming with it over his head. So it looks like it's an axe, actually. Yeah, man. And then like boyfriends are killing girlfriends. I mean, it like Johnny said, it's complete and utter just mayhem. You don't know, like, all those allegiances all these people made are out the window now. Because if you got a rat in a box, then you got like the target on your back. So
Meanwhile, in the background, Shabnab, he is consolidating his power. He's getting Victor and Brandy and like all the kind of psychos that have been accumulating in the background, kind of the bullies, like they're all kind of forming behind the nerd Shabnab, who was Marcus's roommate. And he's trying to like set himself up as kind of like the mastermind behind everything. It kind of works out for him a little bit at the beginning.
The puppet master.
Yeah,
that's what he's trying to be. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go back to the brutal. Like that one page where Victor or whatever his name is, that Russian dude, he's just having a field day, just pummeling people. It's crazy. And I love the way Wes Craig does that. Like just the sound effects and the frames. Yeah. Then Shabnab shows up, like you said, Johnny, trying to manipulate the situation. Well,
like it's done a really good job of establishing that nobody's safe. It's kind of almost like what The Walking Dead did really successfully in its initial sort of runs and arcs, that it wasn't like obligatory death at the end of each series like it turned out to be in probably after season 5. Like on any page, somebody could turn around and die, and you completely accept the authenticity of it in the scope of the story that we've been trained to expect at this point. Like it's it didn't seem gratuitous, despite the fact there was like betrayal and murder and machinations and all that kind of thing. So for it to get to almost 15, 16 issues in, and for you to still not know what's going to happen on the next page, so that's really finding the sweet spot in writing.
And it starts to establish kind of the feeling of there are stakes because no one is safe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And as we keep going, Rick Remender really cements that down. Like, there are stakes in this book, and later on, as we get to it, like one of the big spoilers, like one of the big turning events in this first part of this deluxe edition we'll get to, in the hunt, he really stakes his claim of nobody's safe, and he doesn't pull any punches when he gets that part for the spoilers once we get there. Yeah.
Hurry up then, Joe!
So like Johnny said, like, I mean, it's just mayhem. For the first 3 issues, it's just them scrambling, not knowing who to trust. Like, who's this one guy? Hey, it's me. I'm Paulie. Like
Paulie in the red
shirt. He's like, everybody knows me. Everybody loves me. He's just trying to pick sides, right? Paulie.
And then somebody's got him in the scope like there, and he goes, "Nah, not Paulie."
Yeah,
not
Victor,
Paulie.
I can't kill Paulie.
Yeah, I can't kill Paulie. He's like, "I'm Paulie. Everybody loves Paulie. That's my thing." And they're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah. So even in all this craziness, this mayhem, he sprinkles some humor in there a little bit everywhere, right? That's a nice little, just like one page of levity, right? Amongst all like this brutal and killing. Then all of a sudden, let's throw this one page in here, add a little levity to the situation, and then we'll get back to the just. Yeah, so it goes from mayhem, this little joke, then it comes into the calm part of the book where now everyone's cards are on the table. What's his name? Fat boy.
Shabnab.
Shabnab is playing his cards, manipulating people, making deals, like backroom deals. So all these people have backroom deals going on. Now it's starting to get revealed who's betraying who. And I think one of the biggest betrayals in the beginning is the is it that guy? The gay couple, right?
Stephen and Kindle, yeah,
he kills his boyfriend, right? Because to become part of the elite crowd of killers, assassins, right? Because everyone has to kill a rat.
The thing is Stephen was a rat and Kindle was hiding him, but like Shabnab can make deals, I guess. So certain rats, if they help expose
eliminate
people that are being sympathetic and helping them out, like they can redeem themselves as becoming not rats, or
Get like a get out of jail free card type thing, or
because the
Yeah,
thing
like
was
a
is
hall
like
pass.
the thing was is like Kendall was supposed to kill Steven, but Steven ends up screwing over Kendall because like Kendall's dad is like the head of the CIA, so they were gonna steal like mind altering drugs and like kidnap Shabnab and find out like where the blackmail was, and like
yeah.
somehow he was able to get to Steven. But it was a great plan, man. Like I love that initiative. We're gonna get that.
Oh yeah.
We're
Yeah, you see all like the backroom deals and all that start slowly revealing themselves. Like people just making any kind of deal to survive, right? Once people are in survival mode, then there's like all loyalties are off the table.
Also, at the beginning, Saya and Willie, like they're down to help Billy and Petra and Marcus escape. But soon after, Master Lin calls him into his office, and he tells them basically like, "Dude, you guys are, especially Saya, you're responsible for killing Marcus." So
yeah, because she took him under her care in the beginning when he got admitted into the school.
Yeah. And he's basically fucked up because they've escaped from the grounds and they've killed a couple of the guardsmen, and now it's become a bigger problem because it's off premises. And he's like, "Look, you need to take responsibility because he was your pledge." So
yeah,
you know what that means.
Now the mayhem has spilled into the streets of the regular normal citizens, right? So that's where we get to this page, where Willie and Saya are running out trying to find Marcus and the rest of the gang of their little clique from the first part of this.
While on top of that, Shabnab has talked to Willie's gang, and like they're after Willie because Willie killed like one of the homeboys. Plus, Shabnab has exposed Willie for being a punk. So there's a lot of angles being played. Like there is so much going on in this book. It's like a white knuckle ride.
So much. And when it goes out onto the street, I feel it loses a little bit of the verisimilitude. I know it's like a completely ridiculous fictional world where you have to buy into the fact that there is this school and there are these assassins, and that's the thing you have to accept. But it's a bit like John Wick, where they're having like a car gunfight by the Arc de Triomphe, and I'm like, where are the police? Like, and that's the only part of this where I go, well, that's a lot of civilian death. Like, is it just an accepted thing with the police? Is like Lynn gives them a ring and goes, "Look, yeah, these are my dead bodies. We'll clear them up. Just walk away." But that's the only one of the few things that took me out of the story a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, this happens.
It happens all the time. You just didn't have to, your schools, Matt, in England.
But I think also this happens like super quick, right? Like this is like over. Like this isn't over the number of days. Like a lot of this happens over the number of hours. So maybe the police don't have time to get there before all it happens, and everyone has time to scatter.
Yeah. Come on, Matt. San Francisco's a big city. Like they actually show the cops. Like when it does get involved a little bit. Like when Victor's riding the car down the hill, and like Marcus. Yeah. So then the cops kind of
later on. Yeah, a little bit later on.
So like. They do it a little bit, but like I do see what you're saying. But at the same time, like,
yeah, for sure. Well, that was one of the issues I had with 30 Days of Night, the beginning of the second arc. Remember when I was saying they're in the auditorium and all that, and the cops are just like whatever. And see, so your argument is definitely, your criticism is definitely warranted, because I definitely felt the same way as you for that specific thing. Yeah.
Strangely, that was the volume that I enjoyed the most. So call me a hypocrite.
yeah, exactly.
It was because Sexy Vampire Dane, right? And his little crustache. He like
100%. Yeah, that vampiric concubine sequence that was ironically got my blood going.
Shout out to Adrian, who's in the chats. How's it going? So we were at the part where Saya and Willie are getting hunted down by his gang, and this is where Saya is a master manipulator, right? She starts to, because we all know that Willie is a pacifist by now, right? And he can't kill people. So then Saya's taking out most of these guys, and she just lays on the ground, right? Not doing anything.
she gets shot in the arm, man. She gets
Yeah.
messed up, but like her sword is hella near. Like it's a good couple feet away though. Like,
Yeah.
but she's a ninja. She could have probably got to it, and like, yeah, basically, like she makes Willie do his first kill, and it's in front of his own guys. So
yeah. Where hey, she's cold blooded, man. Saya's a killer. She's a true assassin.
A killer.
Yeah.
And then after that, we get this really great scene in the Tower Records where there's this kid talking to the metalhead that works there, trying to tell him how like the B-52s are actually a cool band, and it gets broken up by Billy just busting in there and like
running through. Yeah,
I forget what the guy says, but he says he'd rather get shot in the face than listen to the B-52s. And then Victor comes in with his AK-47 and kind of makes that a reality for Homeboy.
I'd rather take a bullet to the face, is what he says.
Well,
you're gonna get your wish, buddy.
That's so well done, because there's a couple later in it as well when they're talking about like categorizing racism and stuff like that, where it just pauses, takes a breath for a couple of pages. They just have a bit of a discussion, and it doesn't feel like forced or ill-fitting, and it actually kind of breaks up what is an absolutely relentless, I've forgotten half the stuff that happened in this because there's so much. It's just, like I said, it's relentless from start to finish. So those like little relaxed pages, it's like, okay, thank you, I can take a breath. I can take
exactly. Yeah, he gives you those little breaks here and there. And I'm gonna give it a go. The Automatopoeia, no? Did I get that right? Automatopoeia in this book, the series so far is, flawless. Just the way he incorporates the Automatopoeia in all the panels, the hectic, it just adds. And Wes Craig does a fantastic job. Like throughout, you get a lot of it because now there's a lot of gunplay, there's a lot of weapons play, so you get a lot of that Automatopoeia in it, and it's fantastic. And like the next scene after he goes out the back, he goes through the kitchen of I think it's maybe an Asian restaurant or something where Billy's running through.
They're just beating his ass with those spoons. This is my restaurant, and then just whooping his ass with the ladles. Yeah.
And I love the way it's a panoramic view. Like all those panels are broken down where he's running through, and each panel is like panoramic where you see him working his way through the kitchen. I love that layout. I love those page layouts. It's so good. Yeah, and then the guys show up, bam, 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 and just like Matt was saying. Wait, let's see. 1, 2. There's at least 2 of the 3 people in that kitchen are dead, got shot, right? So more casualties, civilian casualties there.
Yeah, because Victor's just mowing fools down, man. Like
Yeah. And then just like when he jumps out the window onto the car, crunch. Crunch, and then like the windows. I love it. Like just so graphic too. Like just the simplicity of that panel, and it's so effective. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
No, not at all. Don't worry about it. I was going to say, surely that Chinese restaurant had CCTV. But then I stopped myself. I was like, no, we put it to bed. We agreed to disagree. We'll move on. That panel just shows you like the brute force of it, doesn't it? Where it's just dropping on the car and crunch. Like it's almost like an MCU thing where Captain America falls out of a skyscraper and just stops himself with his shield and just gets up like it doesn't matter. Like you see the brute force of that character in that one panel, like just completely undeterred by this huge fall that almost kills Billy, doesn't it? Like he's pretty messed up afterwards, struggling. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And the panels, the pages that follow of the chase with Victor and Billy are just phenomenal. Phenomenal layouts. Everything's fantastic. Like all those pages. That's like it lasts maybe a total of 8 to 9 pages, and it's just phenomenal. The layouts, the art. This book is action-packed, and, Wes Craig doesn't miss a beat. Like, look at this. That's a thing of beauty, where that fucking cinder block comes swinging down, hitting him in the back. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Johnny, I know, obviously, you're a huge Remender fan. I've noticed that a lot of his artists on the creative team, like with Bengal on, is it Death or Glory?
Yeah.
But Bengal had a really sense of action and motion, which is one of the hardest things to show in sequential art because obviously it's a static image. Do you know if he contributes or if he sort of storyboards or sort of says the point of view and helps his artists, or is he just either sort of by happenstance or by intention just really good at choosing his artists?
I think he probably does. I know that he, before was a comic book writer, he was an animator. So I know that he is.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
I know he does know how to has a grasp of art. I know he probably knows how to draw pretty well. So I think he probably maybe does like send some thumbnails that he draws himself over to Wes, and like, this is what I have in mind, and like he's like, can you get like, you know, it to look like he's, you know, and you're right, like he does find the artists that just have this great sense of motion, like Wes Craig and Big Al and you know, Jerome Opina, Greg Tuccini, like all of them, like they have like and Sean Gordon Murphy, like
on Tokyo.
So I think that he does look for artists like that, and I think that I think he does have know how to communicate that type of art out of them because of his history in animation. You know, I think that. Yeah,
and actually, Bengal and him are teaming up on a new series that's going to be coming out in November, probably December or January. When is it, Johnny? Do you remember what it's called?
EPHK is doing a cover for it here. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, so Bengal and him are teaming up for another series. Yeah. And he's teaming up with, he's got a few things he's co-writing with people, right? He's got 2 or 3 books coming out in 2024. Who's the comedian that was in the series?
Brian Posehn. That book's called Grommets, and then he's got a book with Andy Samberg about bowling that's coming out.
That's true, with Andy Samberg too. He's teaming up with Andy Samberg.
Napalm Lullaby is the new Bengal book.
Okay, perfect, cool.
The actor.
Yeah.
Oh no way! From
Hot Rod.
Scrubs. Is it Scrubs? Not Scrubs. From don't tell me. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
from
way.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Oh, I'm quite excited about that.
he's got a lot of shit coming out at the beginning of next year, I believe. Yeah, the end of this year and beginning of next year. Yeah. He's gonna be a busy boy next year. So and anyone who loves his work, man, get ready to start spending some money.
So who was the bloke out of Scrubs?
Was he?
No.
What was his name? Zach Braff.
Yeah, I think
that's the guy from Scrubs. Yeah,
because that would have annoyed me. I'd have been sitting there thinking, well, who was that gentleman? Yeah,
you're right. That Zach Braff is the guy from Scrubs, but Andy Samberg, I think he started on Saturday Night Live, and he was the Lonely Island. You know that spoof musical group, Lonely Island? Well, he's one of the members of that as well. Yeah.
Did he do? He did Dick in a Box with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They did all that stuff.
And he was Hot Rod, man. One of the funniest movies to come out.
Yeah, Hot Rod was good too. Babe, no babe, babe.
Hey,
wait, babe, no babe. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna train. When I yelled up, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'm gonna get you better so I can beat you to death. That's what he tells him. Yeah. Get you better so I can beat you to death.
Yeah, there's some great lines in that movie. Yeah. All right, so back to Deadly Class.
Yeah, Billy had taken Victor out, man, finally, which kind of like he doesn't kill him, but like Victor actually gets messed up and hit by a cinder block.
And in hindsight, now that I know what happens a little later on, I'm looking at these panels over again, and man, like he hides his hand quite well. Like Rick Remender, knowing what's coming up ahead, like later on, he hides his hand quite well. So with you got Marcus, Petra, Billy, they're all together. They got to find a place to hide, right? So that's what they're looking. And is it Marcus that comes up with the idea of going back to Fuckface's hideout, and they're going to go hide out there because no one will think of trying to find them there. and that's where they go to hide out to try to wait this out. Because how long do they have to kill all the rats? They have a certain amount of time.
8 in the morning.
7 more hours. 7
Yeah.
more hours.
They have to. It's I guess around midnight, and they got to make it till like 8 in the morning.
Okay, so yeah, so they want to go to Fuckface's hideout and just lay low there and wait this out.
Meanwhile, Marcus is remembering Maria and how good he had it. He's being like a pendejo, being like, "Man, I was like really mean to her when she took me to see swans, and like, then I miss her." You know, just doing the Marcus thing.
Yeah.
Like, but he's such a good character. I love that Rick. He is so hateable, but at the same time, like, there's
sympathetic.
Marcus is in all of us. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of like. He's the part of us that you wish would shut up. Like,
yeah, like after the fact, like, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Oh no, I don't know that feeling at all. That's why none of the episodes are live.
So now you have
me on this.
So now you have Willie and Saya tracking Billy, Petra, and Marcus down. So they're in the hideout, and they're, like Johnny said, reminiscing all the things they did good and bad, and the friends they've made while they're at this school, kind of reminiscing about all the times.
Oh, and you also get this messed up scene where Saya basically tells Willie that she's done carrying him after she made him like actually murder a fool. So like,
yeah, like, you got to hold your own, bitch.
Do you think that was because if he stayed with her, she'd have to kill him?
No, because he's a legacy. He wasn't really supposed to die here.
Okay,
he died because Shabnab wanted like that whole crew dead because of Marcus.
Yeah, because he comes from a family, right, of supposedly criminals.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's
now,
right, because he either did or did not kill his father.
Yeah, exactly.
He did shoot his dad. He like comes clean about that.
Yeah.
By mistake, trying to shoot the guys coming in, and he shoots his father by accident. That's his big secret. That's his big burden. Why he is now a pacifist. Yeah.
And Rick does what he does best with this stuff, man. Like he really gets you invested in these characters for like what he's about to do to us, which we'll get to in time. But like this whole issue is just full of stuff to like really get you gut punch you, man, because like he's got this whole thing playing with Saya and Willie, while at the same time Marcus and Billy are upstairs talking to Petra, and like they're having this really sweet reminiscent thing where like they're kind of Marcus is talking about this one time he smoked some PCP joint and like made a fool of himself, and Petra's talking about how she tried to bang Victor one night, but like he couldn't get it up, and but he tells everybody he wasn't able to do it because she had feminine hygiene issues.
Oh my god! If yours is that big when you can't get it up, Joe, I'm worried for.
Well, that is a problem. It takes a lot of blood, you know. That's the
Jesus
issue.
I should pass out, mate. You can only have sex once a year, and you have to be in a cradle. You animal. So like Johnny says, they're reminiscing in the hideout, and kind of mending bridges, because as we remember, Marcus kind of shunned everyone and said everyone was out against him. So he's kind of mending all these bridges, hugging Billy, saying he loves him, and all this stuff. So they seem to be making up and repairing their past relationships and friendships. So that's how that scene ends in the hideout for now. Oh, then we get to the scene I was mentioning earlier, where the what's his name betrays his boyfriend.
Oh, Steven betrays Kendall?
Yeah, I think that's because they're in the hideout. Let's see. Okay, he still has him hidden. He hasn't betrayed him yet, but he still has him hidden.
That's a little later, because this is like when Saya kills Straight Edge Dan, and like basically her and Willie are like storming in on Marcus and them.
Straight Edge Dan, who he's gonna, because they finally find them, right?
Yeah, they find at the Fuckface's house. Basically, Yeah, somebody from somebody that's hanging out there actually calls Shabnab, and they're
Yeah.
trying to make you think it's Billy for some
Yeah.
reason. But dude, that this is one thing I kind of wish that the show would have went on, because they went out of their way that first season to really make you love Petra, kind of make her the sweetheart of the show. So I would have loved to seen how they played this off on the show. Man. They would have went full evil with her character.
Yeah.
It took a very limited amount of pages for the enjoyment of this story to turn to be tinged with disappointment that it would never be seen on TV again. Such a good series. So sad it didn't get picked up for a second one.
And like Victor kind of gets back in the fight. Like him and Marcus ride this VW down one of the big hills in San Francisco. Really another great just action-packed sequence.
So basically, Marcus, like you're saying, he leaves and lures Victor away from the hideout and leaves Billy and Petra safe and alone in the hideout. That's kind of what we're at here, like you're saying. He lures them away. Yeah.
It says 10 minutes, and then like you guys take off, and we'll take the bus to San Jose, and then hitchhike out of California.
That's the plan. Like all well-laid plans, they never go as you expect. Yeah. So then Marcus gets away from Victor. This is where the cops come into play, Matt. They actually hit the car, and Victor flies into the cop's window, hands up. The cops are there. They got their guns on Victor. Then it cuts to Marcus going into the building, running up to the rooftop, and lo and behold, Willie's waiting.
Willie's waiting for him.
Willie's waiting with the gun. And then that's the cliffhanger of that issue. Then we get to that's a cliffhanger for issue 20. Then we get to issue 21. We cut back to the hideout with Petra and Billy.
And we kind of get Petra's backstory, which it's brutal, man. Like they really, it's another thing I kind of wish they could have got to in the show, because I really like the actress that played Petra, and she kind of breaks down that like they were kind of really rigid, fundamental Christians, her family, and then like they kind of met this new dude, and they kind of like just became like this weird sex cult.
Yeah, like almost like Satanist sex cult. Yeah, where they're doing seances and having orgies and all that craziness. Yeah, and then that's where she reveals. Right, that's the part where her mom, like she said, her mom hasn't been home for a while.
Yeah,
and then she finds the mother's eyeballs in a jar in the fridge, and that's where it's revealed that the father sacrificed the mother.
And he tells her like this really disturbing shit about the eyes, which will come to play like a little bit later in this issue. Like, oh man, when they did this, it's so cool.
Yeah, for sure.
At this time, like we kind of switch back to Marcus and Willie, and Willie gets basically convinced by Marcus that Saya's kind of been playing him a little bit. She's been playing everybody. And he realizes what he's done. So Willie's not going to kill Marcus, but he's going to try to top himself. But Marcus is like, "No, dog, come with us. Like, we're leaving, and you're totally welcome, because you're like the best friend I ever had." And Willie's like, "All right, yeah, like we'll go together." And
it's always like I love the way Remender lays this out, because Marcus meets each person kind of almost on a one-on-one kind of situation. And you get the flashbacks to what led them to be friends, right? Like when they're on the rooftops, jumping rooftops, he brings that back, and there's a little flashback to that, and kind of just in a clever way reminding people of all the the stuff that happened before, right? In these little like mini flashbacks and stuff. So it's fun. It's kind of a refresher at the same time as you're reading. Yeah, I like the way he does that. Yeah, then it gets to the
scene that you've been waiting for. Yeah, when Steven turns on Kindle.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, because Marcus and Willie are talking, and then because he's a pacifist, right? So it ends with Willie putting a gun to his
his chin.
His chin. Yeah. Then we get to, like you said, I always forget his name, fat boy.
Shabnab.
Shabnab. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. I love the way just casually, like, that scene, that first panel. Like, oh yeah, the janitors are just there picking up the bodies, mopping up the blood. Like it's nothing, you know? I love that, just that little panel of, like, just an everyday school day at the assassin school. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what you're saying, Johnny. That's where the gay couple show up and come see Shabnab. And the betrayal, like you were saying. That's a great panel too. Fucking fantastic. Panel, yeah. Fantastic panel.
Do you think Remender gets away with having so many twists because of the frenetic pace of the story that you don't have a chance to catch breath? So when you have to turn the page, twists or shocks or turns, you're just like, oh, another one, shit, and you don't have time to question it or even, and then you think that one's done. If this was maybe a slower paced story, maybe they would feel a bit more obligatory. I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
I don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, the thing about escalation is you have to outdo it each time, and I think that he pulls that off, and I think that's why he's able to get away with it. Because this story, like, I think he had, like, all these ideas, and he, like, knew all these horrible things he wanted to do to these characters, and he was like, okay, but I got to put them in order of which one will outdo each one. And, like, I think he found just the perfect pace to, like, just do these in a row, because they do happen in succession. There's a bunch of dominoes that fall, and it's all in this issue, and they're all so brutal and gut punches, and, like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's breathtaking, isn't it? It's just, even each turn, you don't know what to expect.
But I think that's how he does it, is because each one is actually bigger and worse than the last one.
Yeah. And that's where we're getting to probably the biggest one coming up, right?
Yeah, with
so we go back to Petra and Billy back at the hideout.
Yeah, the 10 minutes is up, so it's time for them to, like, leave and do their part of the plan. And Petra goes out the door first and locks it, leaves Billy inside with the chlorine bomb. It's brutal, man. Like, I'm not going to put the panels up, but, like, they literally show, like, him, like, kind of dissolve a little bit.
What was the motivation behind that? At the time, it was so surprising. I didn't really question it. Is it?
Well, later on, it's because she made a deal.
Yeah,
with Shabnab. Yeah. Yes, she made a deal with Shabnab, right? Because Billy's one of the rats, right?
Yeah, and if she helps kill him, she'll get part of the credit, and she'll not be a rat anymore. I guess was, like, the deal.
Yeah, she won't become like her place will be guaranteed at school because no one's paying her tuition, right? Or was her dad paying? Or was
her dad's paying her tuition? Yeah, she's being sent there to learn how to poison people and stuff, and kind of be like the Lucretia Borgia of his little cult.
Yeah, and then we get back after that. That was like I was like, holy fuck!
She drags Billy out of the room and does the thing with his eyes that her dad did. And she sees him fade away, and, like, it is so psychotic, man. It is just so.
Her face, that face, that kind of weird, almost demonic smile on her face when she's watching him as he takes his last breath, and just the way they draw him all twisted on the floor, like with his hands just, like, wrenching in pain and in a fetal position. I mean, brutal.
And I like how it had the Punisher logo as, like, the icon, which was on a T-shirt, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and they used those. And they used, like, those little reflections when any main characters die thereafter. There's always, like, a little reflection in the eyes. It's like a nice little hidden detail. Well, not hidden. It was a nice detail.
That splash page of Billy. And I mean, like, and he picked, like, this was very deliberate, right? He picked, like, the most relatable, lovable character and decided to, kill that character off in Billy. Because Billy, I mean, didn't wish any harm on the world. even his father, who he wanted to wish harm on, he just broke down sobbing, crying, even after his father, who abused him so badly, he felt so gut-wrenched and heartbroken about his father dying. Like, just a lovable, like, probably the most kind character in this series.
And he gets the slow, brutal one from the girl that he has a crush on.
Yeah.
Like, the slowest, most brutal, because like a lot of these other people, they getting shot in the head. I mean, they're bad deaths. I'm not gonna say like any death is not, but like this guy like got his lungs liquidated by a chlorine bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then had his girlfriend the girl that he has a crush on, kind of like molest his body while he was dying. Like,
yeah.
Well, she says to him, "Take a nice deep breath; it will be quicker."
Yeah. Yeah, that's cold.
That's cold.
That's cold. Yeah. Yeah. Then we get back to two of the main players from the series. We go back to Marcus and Willie back on the rooftop. Yeah. So Marcus talks him down, right? And as they're leaving the rooftop, he thinks, okay, I've convinced Willie to like run away. We're all going to run away. They're going to leave the rooftop, and man, the hits just keep coming.
He gets
Marcus hears bang, and then he turns around. He thinks maybe Willie shot him in the back, but then when he turns around, Willie's laying on the ground on the rooftop. Yeah.
I thought Willie might have just tried to get Marcus far away enough. Like, I can't be bothered with the discussion about whether I shoot myself. So it's like, okay, yeah, not a problem. Get him out of the way. And I thought he may have done it to himself. But of course, that isn't what happened at all.
No. Yeah, Victor's a fucking bastard, man. He's cold-blooded as well. He's just, that guy takes joy in just killing. Like, he just loves it. He laps it up like it was fucking ice cream, man. He can't get enough of it. He lives for it. He's a killing machine. So Marcus pulls him away, but there's not much he can do. He takes off running. Victor is in high pursuit once again, and as he's running, he's just, the flashes of these friendships now kind of disappearing, right? Like, all these friends he made now are like the trauma of losing his parents. Well, now he's going through all that trauma again while he's running away. He doesn't have time to process it, right? It's just so many emotions running through him, and they portray that so well with the tears. Like, as he's running, the tears flying off his face, and
we're getting to it.
Yeah.
We're getting to it.
Turn page. He swings the door open to get out. Boom. Saya's there waiting. Runs him through. She runs him through. And what?
I couldn't believe it. I flicked back a few pages to make sure I hadn't missed something, because I was in just absolute disbelief on that one panel.
They don't say
disbelief.
They don't say till later what she says to him.
Okay.
For good reason, but she whispers in his ear, which makes it suspect. But like, this was so gutsy to do at the time, man. Just in that arc, like the ultimate cliffhanger, man. Is he dead? Dude, what's going on, man? Did he really kill his main character? Like,
and then it leads you to believe
he did
wholeheartedly, because you have Saya with the tears in her eyes after. And then you get the close-up on the eye, like Matt was that fucking crazy clown that he gets flashbacks of when he did his acid trip, right?
We finally see the relevance of that clown, and because it's popped back up in several bad moments. It's the clown that gave him the balloon,
the red balloon,
the day that his parents died. It's like, God damn it, dude! Like, it's just so gut punching. Like, Rick nailed that, dude.
Yeah. That's revealed why that clown becomes his what do you call it? Like, when you have an animal
totem,
you know?
His totem.
That clown is his totem. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And like, I knew something was coming, man. Like, Rick played it close to the vest, but like on Image's website for months, there was the next cover. Like, it had Saya with a bunch of new characters, and it said all new Deadly Class. Like, so like, you didn't know what was up, and like, leading up to that issue, it was like, it was just maddening. You know what I mean? It was just so well done, because, and I also really liked that he was kind of menacing Marvel a little bit with that all new Deadly Class thing, because that happened during the whole when all new X-Men and all that was popping off. So like it was pretty clever.
How did you feel about the series being split into 4 parts as opposed to maybe 3, and just having this as the concluding few issues in the first deluxe and then just having 2 succeeding ones? Because it felt a bit jolty to me when we went all through that, and then we're on to the next issue, and I was kind of like, whoa, what's going on? And I had a bit of an emotional hangover as well because of all the twists and turns and surprises and the shock and the disbelief. And then, like I said, it had almost like an emotional hangover. And then the new characters are introduced in such an unemotional way. We didn't have like this slow build up with Marcus. I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'm with these guys. The way.
But I think it's because if you're reading it if you're reading it monthly, like floppy version, you have a whole month, or did they take a 2-month break? So you have that time to, like you said, digest everything, right? And then they come back with a new class. Yeah. So whereas like the way we're reading it straight through, like in a collected edition. So we don't get that forced break. Yeah.
Would it have been better to have 3 deluxes instead of 4 and having this concluding part of the first deluxe if it was only in 3 parts? And just put like an extra 30 quid on it or whatever.
But that might just be an economical business decision, because then the hardcover would be even more expensive, and they probably have a certain price point that they know it'll be easier to sell these things at. So maybe it'd make it too pricey of a deluxe edition that you'd lose a lot of the market. Maybe they probably wouldn't. I'm sure that probably has very little to do with Rick himself and more to do with the marketing and financial structure for how you sell these things. Yeah.
And it probably helped sell his cliffhanger a little better too, if like he made you hardcover guys wait in between that and get in the next arc.
Because he stops it at the auditorium. You're right. Oh shit! Now I have to get the next fucking deluxe edition because I want to know what the fuck happens. You know, like Johnny's saying.
Well, that's how it was with the trades. That's how the 4th trade ends, with Marcus getting shanked, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to stop for a second and take it in. There's very few times in comics where something shocked me. That I can remember when I was quite new to it all. I think I've used this example before. I don't know if I've used it on your channel, but when Cyclops kills Professor X in A versus X, and I was like, oh, he's just taking a blast. And I opened the next issue, and they're all mourning him, and I was like, when did he die? And I had to go back and reread the other issue because I was just in so utter disbelief that they would kill Professor X. Little did I know at that point, as a complete noob, that it happens every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that first section of this this deluxe edition is just fucking roller coaster, man. Like a non-stop roller coaster. Yeah, like you're not like. And they're not letting you off, no matter how much you're kicking, screaming. Yeah, they're strapping you in. Once you get on it, you're not getting off, man. You're not getting off. You're on for the ride, the whole ride.
They're strapped in, and you're biting your wrist, waiting.
Yeah. So now issue 22 ushers in the new class. The new class. So we're introduced to a bunch of new characters. We have Saya, who is back from the original. She's the legend now. She's considered a legend amongst the people in the school. Okay, I'll let you guys. Who do you have here, Johnny? You have
Zenzali, Helmut, and what was the Irish kid's name? Man, like he just was in this first issue, but like
I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, like, yeah, that they meet like this IRA kid who's like talking about like how he's going to be like big swinging dick.
He gets kicked out like in the first issue. This first issue, he gets booted out of the school.
Yeah, it's hella funny because Brandy, like the white trash,
sets him up.
Yeah, she takes him out and gives him a joint. And
she sets his ass up. And you have Quan, who's going to be a big player in this story.
Quan might be the best character in the whole comic, man. He's such a little shit, but so lovable at the same time, man. Like, oh my god. Like at first, I kind of thought he was going to be the new Marcus. Like for a little bit, I literally thought they were going to leave Marcus dead, and Quan was going to try to fill that gap, but like be even worse than Marcus, because that's kind of how they portray him.
And like, obviously, I'm only from the culture that I know, but Rick Remender finds such a distinct voice for each of the very different characters, and when you read it, I'm not having to differentiate. Like I've already got the way they sound in my mind. Like it's so good to have that dexterity with so many moving parts and so many different identities. Like it's rare. It's really rare.
The book is called Deadly Class, Phoenix, by Rick Remender and Wes Craig from Image Comics.
Yeah. And like you're saying, like you get so attached to these characters from the first part of this story. And like Matt was saying, he does a fantastic job of just hooking you with all these different characters early. Like it's not like, oh, I hate all these characters, because I love those original characters, where it doesn't take long. It takes maybe a couple issues where you're entrenched. Like he's got the claws into you again with this new cast of characters, right?
Well, and new versions
of
versions of old characters. Like Matt was talking about off air, like we kind of get introduced to a new version of Petra, and when she shows up, man, like just how psychotic she looks right here, just like
almost like the Joker,
looking like
a smile,
looking like Pearl, man.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yes,
isn't it just like that smile as the credits are coming down, like psychotic.
Yeah, but exactly.
How much did it confuse me, Joe? I sat there trying to work it out, and I was just text Joe. I was like, Joe, I need a little bit of clarification on this one, mate. Is this Petra the same Petra, or what? Like, what's going on?
Me too. I was like, I went back and I was like, so I was reading and I kind of just, Petra. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And I turned back a couple pages. I was like, okay, I don't understand right now what's going on, but I know that this character is supposed to be Petra.
Yeah. See, that's the benefit of binging it the night before. I did it in 3 parts, and I instinctively did it in 2. But I think when we read the first Deluxe, oversized Deluxe hard, whatever you want to call it, I was loving it that much. It's really hard to stop myself from just blasting it in one go. But I have to get into the mindset of, you've enjoyed this today. If you can carry on enjoying it, all you've done is still enjoy it. Save a little bit of enjoyment for tomorrow and the next day. And that's what I did.
I'm just showing the cover for Phoenix, man.
Yes.
Got early as we spoke about. This is the second deluxe edition we're talking about. It covers issues 17 to 31 of the regular series published by Image Comics. So this is a collected edition of those issues.
What's also interesting here is like Saya, like how broken up she is about what she's doing, and like she literally admits that like everything that like Marcus said that she did was true. She literally like played everybody from the beginning to kind of get this outcome. But like now that that's happened, she is like kind of in the dumps about it, which is pretty interesting. And then like she runs into like this sad new version of Petra, which I don't know. It's kind of a mirror of like how she is herself. I thought it was really well done the way Rick played that. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we get this really great scene with Quan where he goes and tries to mac on Saya.
Yeah.
I love that greaser persona. Like it's just it's that sort of that charm, but on the very precipice of smarm. But you love watching it or reading it. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that they laid them on thick with the new characters, especially like with Quan and Helmut at first, and they're great characters. Like Helmut is so good. Like Helmut is basically kind of like the anti-Victor. Like if Marcus had Helmut in the first run, like they would have been able to win. I think, man. Like,
yeah. So that's like what is that? That's like the ball for like the new class, like when the new school year starts.
Yeah, kind of like homecoming dance.
Dance, yeah, like a homecoming dance, yeah. So that's kind of fun that we were introduced to the new characters that way as well. Like the opening, and you see right from the start, right? People are already playing their hands, right? Trying to make alliances, team up with the right people to advance in the school and everything. So
and we find out that like Shabnab, like he kind of got his power, but like the thing is like his girlfriend basically through being able to like gratify him in certain ways is able to like very easily manipulate him, and she's kind of running everything. Plus nobody respects him anyway, so you got like supposedly like this new group of people like at the top, which consists of Steven, the guy that betrayed his boyfriend Kendall. You got Victor, you got Brandy, and Shabnab and his girlfriend. They call her the Troll, but what's her real name? Golgotha or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, but like all of them hate each other and they're all scheming against each other. So like it's you get this really funny thing because during the homecoming dance, Master Lin asked Shabnab if he'll do a speech for the freshmen. So Steven gives him a drink with spiked punch with a truth serum in it. So Shabnab he gets all insecure and starts telling him about like how he screwed his friends over and how he hates his girlfriend and shit. It's really it's pretty sad but really funny and like
just how dysfunctional and fuck like it just makes you wonder like how did these guys become the toast of the town, right? They're such a fucking bunch of fuck ups at the top controlling like
the only thing that they have is their bloodthirstiness. That's the only thing that was able to carry them over,
carry them through. Yeah.
The way I looked at it was that like Leicester were obviously relegated from the Premier League 7 years after winning the Premier League and recently an FA Cup and a Community Shield. I'll just put that in there. So we were one of the bottom three teams in the table last year. Now this year in the Championship, we've won 11 out of 12 games. And we're like 5 points clear at the top, 12 points clear of the third place. So in the Championship, the second tier, we're the bollocks. But when we get promotion next year, we'll be kind of like one of the also-rans, or we'll be in danger. So I think what happens is, in their own environments, they're like the big dogs, the big fish, so to speak. But when you put them together, then it establishes a new hierarchy between the best of the best, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. Cleared it up for everybody. You're welcome.
Then we get to that scene we were talking about where Brandy sets up the Irish kid. Yeah, where he gets evicted. So you're like, oh, he had a short-lived run on Deadly Class. He lasted not even a full issue.
And at least he survives, man. Like
yeah, and that's where Brandy kind of sends a warning to the new class, like Helmet, Quan, and Zinzele. Like watch your asses because we're the top dogs here.
Well, so, basically, she said, you guys work for me. Anything I say, you have to do it. Like whether you like me or not. Like she kind of reminds me of Parker Posey in Dazed and Confused. It's like, air raid, freshman bitches.
Yeah, she does have that kind of persona. Yeah. So then we hit issue 23, man, and this is where we're introduced to
more characters, a whole new cast. Get ready, people.
Yeah, the whole clan of Saya's family, right?
Yeah, we get
introduced
to
her brother.
Kenji,
who's a cold-blooded motherfucker, right?
Yeah, he's an evil little turd, man.
Yeah, poor man a sympathetic old man. He forces the old man to bludgeon himself on his sword, or what was the ultimatum? He kills his wife. Either you impale yourself on my blade, or I kill your wife. And so the old man doesn't have much choice, eh?
Yeah, and they burned down his manga shop. It's messed up, dude. Like it just but it's a perfect way to just show just how disgusting and ruthless this guy is. And oh man, the way that Wes Craig, I love that just section of panels that show like them starting the fire. Like he totally like nails that Eduardo Rizzo and 100 Bullets thing like that. This is when the book really kind of becomes like the new 100 Bullets, in my opinion. I think that's why I love it so much. It's just so full of everything. Like he never lets you go with the action. Like everything is represented. You understand everything that's going on. Like,
and it's so effective. Like this, like that 12 grid mini. Those mini panels, like you say, it's so effective, eh?
Yeah.
It's like Flash. then you just have them walking away.
Super cinematic, so badass.
Very good, very good, very good.
And basically, we find out that Saya's brother. They now know where Saya is. She's hiding at King's Dominion, and Kenji's like, "Okay, bring her back alive, and I want my father's sword."
Yeah, that's true. She left with the sword. Yeah.
We'll get to her backstory in a little bit, but like we kind of jump back to King's Dominion, and basically Master Lin and Saya are sparring, and he's kind of telling her about like how this new class is going to go, and you basically find out Zinzali is her new pledge. She's kind of like basically the new Marcus, and basically Saya's got to become friends with her and basically watch over her like she was supposed to do with Saya. With Marcus, and Saya takes this one really, really personally, man. Like she kind of gets vested really quick, and she goes and hangs out with them, like
plays D&D.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. I really, really love like this whole breakdown. This kind of really introduces you to the new cast and really endears you to them in the new way. Even the asshole character who is kind of becomes one of my favorite characters, Twishali.
Tashawi. Yeah.
Tashawi. Yeah. But like even Quan, like he's trying to act like he's above it all, but like he's got his cool like elf thief character that's really smooth and suave. And but Saya, she just plays as herself basically. She's like, okay, I'm just gonna be Saya.
Yeah, totally like whatever.
But they have the whole they had the whole game.
Wes Craig gets to draw a little bit of fantasy here. You know, he draws out the whole campaign. It's what, 5 pages? Yeah, about 5 pages where he draws out the whole D&D campaign. Yeah.
But then bad news comes in, man. Guy in a robe with a box brings Zinzali a rat, man. And oh my god, dude, the way Wes Craig does Saya's face in these panels, like when she realizes like it's all just gonna happen again. Like, oh, fuck, so good.
Yeah. Just the weight of it.
They couldn't give him an issue, could they? The rest, it's cruel, is what it is. You're a cruel man, Rick.
and as a reader, you know, right? After reading the first, like, you're like, fuck. You know, you get like, and that's what makes her face, because you have the same. You're like the same. Like you're like, oh shit,
no.
Here we go again.
Come on. And he just caught my breath. Just can we just have some of this more witty banter?
And then the main crew, right? They're on a plot. They're establishing a plot to try to take out Saya because she's considered the top dog, and she's not part of their crew, right? So they want to take her out. So that's what the beginning of the next issue is kind of like them trying to devise a plot to eliminate Saya from the school. Yeah,
and basically Victor volunteers himself, even though like they play him basically. Like Shabnab actually it kind of is an effective manipulator because they wanted Victor to take the job, but like they were like, no, we're gonna have Steven do it to piss him off. Like it's really funny the way they play it, man.
Yeah.
But
and that's where you have your first Helmut and Victor square off there.
It's badass, dude. Helmut's ready to just kill him right there in the hallway. He's like, dude, because he's East German, and basically after World War II, for people that don't know, like Germany was split into 2 different parts, and one was we kind of looked over and we had a bunch of the U.S. We had a bunch of Air Force bases there, whereas Russia got the whole east side of Germany, and then you had the Berlin Wall. And basically, like Helmut was raised on the Russian side, where like they were mistreated. So he's a Stasi, which is kind of like their a freedom fighter group, I guess you can call them. They're like way more vicious than that, and like, but basically that's the group that represents him, that sent him there. So like he just wants to murder Victor right off the bat, which is pretty cool. Like I said, it kind of really sets him up as the anti-Victor, you know.
But also he kind of replaces Billy for me.
Yeah,
in that fun-loving kind of way. Yeah, like as you read, you're like, he's just the like free spirit where just wants everyone to get along and love each other and just have fun and enjoy the company, right?
I thought of him more as a more free-spirited Rex.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as well. Yeah.
More lighter Lex, more lighter on people. Like was more willing to like let his shield down and be like, hey, I'm not really like that. Like we could be homies, because like
Yeah.
he kind of just does really accept anybody, even though he's like the loud metalhead that's like, you guys, this music's a bunch of pussies. Like he's the first guy that's like, hey, you don't treat your friend like that. We're all friends here. Be nice to each other.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like, he basically, I love what they do with his character. But yeah, him drawing like just the way they bring the characters together, man. Like the new group, they're all kind of little assholes, but like I don't know, they're just so likable. Like even Quan and Tosali.
Yeah. Then you kind of go through Zinzele's diary and stuff, and she kind of her plight.
Well, at this
they
point,
touch on that.
Yeah, she's writing letters home to her parents, and you just think that like it's a normal thing at this point. They kind of like deliver that a little bit too. Like, yeah, her character's set up really good. Like in a way, she sort of is our new Marcus Zinzali.
Yeah, and at the same time, through these letters, she's giving us a little extra insight into each of the characters of the group, because she writes back to her parents about each one of the new friends or pseudo friends she's made. So it adds a little insight on how she views the group, like the dynamics and everything. So
it's really cute because like the letter kind of starts where she thinks that she's alienated from him, and it ends with like Quan basically inviting her to go to the Halloween party with them.
The Halloween party.
Like, hey, he said I was part of the crew, so I guess I really do have friends. And then we get another really great Rick Remender fart scenario while they're at the Halloween party.
No, with the shit, the old bum, takes a shit on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah, well I guess there's the turd before the fart joke. Yeah, the art, and then Quan just really respects just the.
Yeah. So they're at the bar. Then that's when Helmet starts telling the story about what he ate something, and then his stomach starts to get all grumbly. And of course, I mean, what are we at now? We're almost 10 issues in.
Yeah.
So he brings back the fart and shit jokes, right? I was like, yes, and it's one after the other, because he talks about the bum taking a shit and putting his empty whiskey bottle in it like a flag, like planting his stake. Yeah. And then he goes into Helmet at the bar, just hanging out, telling his fart story, which was great.
Oh, Isaiah hates him. Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's like, oh yeah, he thinks the elevator's empty, and just the scene. Like, and how does he describe it? A fart to end like it would kill people. 100 dying elephants bellowed in grief. That's what he said his fart sounded like. The grotesque sound grew in tenor. The ghosts of my sadness, of their ordeal. Just the way he describes it is hilarious. It's just so hilarious. I opened myself. Then he looks back, and they're all cracking up at the table. Just, he has no shame. That's why I love him. Helmet's like, yeah, man. I was trying to save people from it, but Saya got the brunt.
Yeah, she was standing behind him the whole time. Like, I love the way he tells the story too. Like, he didn't realize that there was another button illuminated and stuff, and he thought like, oh, maybe like it was going to be somebody getting on the elevator at the next floor. But then, like, you realize that there was nobody standing there, and then Saya just zips out from behind him, just like, fucking Jesus hell, or Christ. Something like that. Yeah,
Jesus Christ. And you see, like, the fart fog.
Yeah, he says, like, well, that's one occasion where being a completely silent ninja doesn't help you out.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. I love that. That's a good way. Then, lo and behold, the final page, the cliffhanger is the gang finds Saya's clan finds her at the bar.
Yeah, basically, like they were at a bar in Japantown, and like they're surrounded by Yakuza ninjas. And I love that this is like you get this motif quite a bit later throughout the rest of the book. But I love Wes Craig's punk rock ninjas, man. They are just so cool with like spikes everywhere, man. They look like it just looks sick. So good, man. Like
Like a
Eastman and
throwback.
Laird,
Like
Frank
if you
Miller.
had an 80s ninja movie, this is what they would look like.
Warriors.
An 80s ninja punk movie.
And yeah, it's just a really badass throwdown. Like you get to see how cool Helmut is, man. He
Helmut,
just
yeah.
steps right up, and like you get these really cool characters like Saya's cousin show up, and then like these big old like I don't know like kabuki luchador guys. Like
Yeah, almost like luchadors, yeah. And then you find out that Zinzele is almost like a pacifist, right? Almost like Willie was. You know, you're like, oh man, she's not fighting, she's not helping. Like her life's in danger, and she's not throwing down fisticuffs, right? Yeah.
And you get this really cool scene with Quan. Like you think he's a chicken shit because he keeps running out on everybody, but like yeah. Oh yeah.
Those panels are fantastic. Like those dudes. Yeah.
But he actually comes back and helps Helmut. It's really cool. Like he's got like a really cool like switchblade scene where like he does this whole like Marlon Brando daddy-o thing. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All these scenes then so
really
Zenzele's watching Saya get her ass handed to her by these two big Japanese luchador style characters.
Yeah, they're like got kabuki masks on or no masks on, and like but like they're luchadors. But like they make a mistake. They hurt a civilian, man. Like
an innocent person, yeah.
And like that's what does it, man. Zinzele finally snaps, man. Dude, does she go like berserker barrage? And like you find out like her weapon of choice is 2 sledgehammers, man. Yeah. And she's like this big, beautiful Nubian goddess anyway. So like her with these just big hammers just going willy-nilly, man. It's just so badass. I love when she snaps. And
the way they portray it the whole time, like this is equal to like the berserker, right? Like Wolverine going into berserker mode, but she's so overwhelmed with emotion and passion, like she's crying the whole time. She's like beating the shit out of these people. Like it's beyond her control. Like it overwhelms her. And in this, she has so much power in this moment that she can't control. And that's a part where you see, okay, this is why she's so reserved and so controlled, because when it does come out, she has no more control over herself, right? And that's totally what I got from these whole scenes is Zinzele, once she lets herself go, like almost taken over by her rage, right? It's she goes red, like the type of person after you'll be like, I don't remember what just happened. I blacked out type almost scenario. Yeah, and it's so well depicted, so gruesome. Like, I mean, for me, this like hammers to the face or blunt objects to the face, like where you're crushing people's skulls, for me are some of the most gruesome like kills. It just turns my stomach. Like I'd rather see a nice clean lop the head off with a katana, you know, nice and clean. But these like mallets to the face or they get me every time.
Yeah, probably don't go and watch Saw 10 then, pal.
Oh yeah.
It's good though. It's good.
Was it?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones. But I love Saw though. I like all the films. I like the sort of progression that it actually tries to have an overarching sort of plot and the way it twists and turns. But yeah, it's good. One of the better ones in a long while. So
cool.
Yeah, with Zinzele's help, they're able to kind of get the upper hand and like kind of like really start getting away, man. Like but Quan slips and like Saya's got to go back and help him. Meanwhile, like we kind of get hints that Victor is at the scene too. He's there to try to kill Saya, and like he wants to, so like he's on premises as well. And basically we find out in the really kind of rude way, like Quan is working for Saya's brother, because after she pulls him up and saves his life, he shanks her in the belly and then drops her through the sunlight and
kicks her off the roof through the skylight of the adjacent building below into the pool. And like you said, Victor sees all this happening and he takes credit when he goes back to school. Yeah.
And he tells Quan like, that happens later, but yeah.
But I mean, we'll touch on it, but issue 26, this is where I really started getting like excited about the story again, like where I was like, oh, so issue 26. We go to
Yeah, it's funny because like how action packed and exciting, like what we just read was like with the new characters, you kind of think of it as a nice little lull where like this really starts picking everything back up again. And yeah, dude, this issue is amazing.
Yeah, exactly the same. This is where I was just reinvested by it because I kind of felt like I like that it's no holds barred and I don't know who's going to go next. I was like, but I really like those characters. And now from this point on, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to start putting the pieces back together. And this is when I really started to like it dropped from a 10 out of 10 to like maybe like a 9. And I was like, okay, let's see what you've got for me. But of course, I should have just trusted Rick. And from this point onwards, I was like, nah, it's just a dead 10. That's all it is. Straight 10. No questions asked. It was all on me. I was being silly. I'm asking for forgiveness. Please give it to me.
Yeah, so we end up in Nevada at an estate.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like this cartel compound, and there's a shadowy figure kind of just going around messing people up, and
he's in like a hazmat suit. Like they're there to clean up a death, right? Someone gets killed. What is it? A bomb on a toilet or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, they're supposedly there to clean up the mess. But one of the guys,
toilet humor.
yeah, a lot of shit and stuff. Yeah,
he's got
one of the guys
at this point.
yeah.
Because like it doesn't even end here. There's even more poo-poo in there.
But
there's a slide later on.
Yeah,
there is a slide, a slip and slide.
Yeah. So that's how the assassin gets into the house. He poses as one of the cleaners in the hazmat suit, so you don't really see him. And he's double-fisted, man. He's got two magnums? Looks like he's got two magnums.
Guns
he's double-fisted. Yeah, double-fisted, man. So you get some good action sequences there. Then all of a sudden we cut to a scene where it looks like it's in a dimly lit room. Someone's being tortured by some redneck who loves torturing, right? Then we see, it's a girl chained to a bed, a stripped down box spring bed springs or whatever. Kind of with getting electrocuted with the power cables connected to it, having fun, just saying this and that, and just great torture scenes. There's some great drawings there, great panels. Wes Craig.
I'm just saying that I'm glad that gentleman didn't have a mustache as well.
Well, you find there's a resemblance. Yeah. So he's in her face, and then all of a sudden, whoop, turn around, buddy, because you've got company. Yeah, fucking the assassin guy, this mystery character, comes in and fucking puts one jumper cable on his neck and one on his balls, and goes to town. Yeah. So then he cuts the girl down that's being tortured. Okay, it's okay. Boom. Revealed. Maria's back, yo. And then I kind of felt this coming. Like I had my doubt. I had my doubts about the guy in the hazmat suit. So then they're like, let's get out of here. And it's Maria's aunt's house. This is what's revealed. It's her aunt's house. She's being tortured.
No, it's not her aunt. It's Chico's mom's house. It's her boyfriend.
Oh, Chico's mom's. Yes, that's it. Sorry, Chico's mom. Sorry, not her aunt.
Jesus, how long ago does that feel now in the story? That feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah. And so she has all of her she's got all of her boy toys, right? She surrounds herself with all these like pretty boys that she uses at her own discretion for her own needs. Yeah. So, yeah, what's going on? It's all chaotic. She's getting pissed.
She's just killing, man. Maria goes like this is like a full-on Rodriguez film. This issue, man. It's just Maria and her. Yeah, and she kills like the black metal dude, biker dude he's got a Gatling gun. Like, yeah, they're just the rest of Chico's dad's gang gets
Chico and Chico's mom gets the same treatment Chico did, right? Like,
worse, man. Like Maria just dices her, man, cuts her to pieces. Chico just got decapitated.
But I mean, she leaves with the head.
Yeah.
She takes the head with her.
Jumps out the window with it. Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah. Then it's just, then like, oh, you think like the what is it? The metal looking, whatever you said, Johnny. He's got that Gatlin. It looks like he's going to get the upper hand on her. Boom! The van doors that are parked outside from the hazmat dude kicks it open, and guess what? We've got another reveal. Motherfucking Marcus, man. He came back to save her. Motherfucking Marcus. Yo, they're back. The team's back together, man. The band's back together. So what does he have? He has a fucking bazooka, yo.
So at least when Marcus, before he died and he got all sentimental, he meant it, man. He actually like really realized that Maria was like it, you know what I mean? And like went back for her. I thought that was so cool.
Like for me, this was the best redemption arc ever. Like this little story of Marcus coming back and saving Maria. Such a great redemption story for me, for Marcus. Like, and the way, like, boom, opens that door, like, literally explosive. You know, like the bazooka blowing the fucking house up. Maria and him are reunited. Such a great moment. And at the end, I'm here. You came. Yes, I'm here. You know, such a great, like, oof. This issue was like my favorite issue of this collected volume. I loved this one. Fantastic. I think this was my favorite issue of the deluxe edition too.
Yeah.
Well, there's some good stuff later on too. We get we get some more partying going on in a hotel room later on, but we'll get to that when we in a bit.
It was pretty fun because this was the only trade I think of the entire series that doesn't end with an evil cliffhanger. It ended with this issue that was kind of wonderful. You know what I mean?
Can I ask a question about this? Is it just from one that was this whole sequence was in one issue from start to finish? And I'm not saying one way or the other for me, but I will let you know. Do you feel that the victory was earned because the whole of the sort of first story arc was a very prolonged and difficult battle that they don't even really come out as victors? They sort of half win, half lose, but they get to save their hides. But then this issue, same kind of antagonists and villainy, but he just wiped them out in one issue. How do you feel about that balance?
Well, I think because, like you said, this is long, and this was planned out. This wasn't like, oh shit, we had a plan to kill Fuckface. We come outside and the family's there, like completely taken by surprise. Whereas this time, Marcus had time to plan this, like that's very exactly deliberately planned. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Whereas they were taken by surprise because they had a plan in the other one. It was to take out Fuckface. But then once the plan is done and they succeed, they come outside and lo and behold, Chico's parents are outside. So that kind of was a wrench or a twist that they didn't see coming, right? So
yeah, and it goes back to these guys being the best of the best, and he's learned from that initial experience, and now he has, like you said, has time to plan, and he goes to the actual. I feel like it's the perfect length. Like it didn't try and stretch it out. There wasn't different acts to it. It was just boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And it also makes a statement of where Marcus is at that point. And it's Maria, isn't it? Marcus and Maria. It makes a clear statement of where they are at that point.
And this issue isn't shared with any other characters. It's no Marcus and Maria. It's an issue dedicated to them. So I think it's like you said, perfect. It's perfect. Yeah.
And it has that. It's that capture and release. It's the kind of the deep breath in before you exhale. That knowing when to have a little bit of give and go. Yeah. And that's, well, I suppose what I'm talking about is pacing. And this, I thought this was a really good example of when to give and when to take.
And when you're looking at it as a monthly release where you get one issue, what a satisfying issue. Because you get a full, like, fleshed out story, start to finish. What a satisfying, like, if you're going to read, like, one issue, one floppy, like so satisfying, right? So satisfying on its own. It stands alone. It's fantastic. Like I said, my favorite issue of this collection, issue 26. Great story. Loved it.
Do you have them all in floppies, Johnny? Do you have them all in floppies?
I have quite a few that I like the covers, but like I read it trade to trade.
Yeah.
But I do have a ton of issues of this series.
And I know it sort of goes without saying at this point, but it's so beautifully illustrated. Like every panel looks like something that's been drawn with the intention of making a pop art for display. Every single panel, it's just it's a master at work, isn't it? Really, both of them together in unison. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that was. And this is what we're a little bit past the halfway point at this. This is like the 2/3 point.
This is the last. This is the last arc. This is the beginning of the last trade, the third.
So
trade.
issue 27. Yeah. Okay.
There's a big amount of additional material as well. So I reckon there's like a trade and a half left at this point.
Yeah. Cool. So issue 27. Then we go back to Tokyo, right? Because as we left off before, Saya got taken out and captured and brought back to her family.
And she's kind of like she's been stabbed and fell through the sky roof, so she's kind of like in a coma, and like she's being taken care of by her mom. But like we basically get her backstory, and we get to see her as a little kid and meet her dad, who was kind of like this noble yakuza. You know, he's like one of the guys that like believes that like, yeah, we do a bad thing, but we look out for our community. But like you meet her brother Kenji, and you see that like he's a little shit, and he wanted to sell drugs and like.
Which the father was against, yeah.
And human traffic girls out of the villages and all kinds of fucked up shit. Like Kenji's an animal, man. He's a bad dude.
There's an Englishman's word that I'd use to describe him, but I won't sound as short.
But it rhymes with punt.
He's a piece of smack bomb.
Yeah, that's the exact one. An Englishman's favorite word, and that's exactly what he is.
And like you learn that like he's kind of always undermined and been mean to Saya, but like her dad's kind of always saying that she's a little gangster, but he wants her to be his precious little doll. But like you find out that like one night at the club, like the guys are kind of like all punking on Kenji and shit, and Saya shows up. She rolls in and just like sits with them. She's like, "Hey, bring me some drinks," and she's like 11 years old, but like she's kicking it at the bar. She's got like the hottest chick there hanging out with her and stuff. It's just
she's already got a side hustle going, right? She's already starting.
She's got all the rich girls at the private school she goes to gambling, like at mahjong during lunch or something, man.
She's got a gambling ring going on at school, yeah. So then the gang takes her out to get her first tattoo that night, right?
Yeah, she gets like a whole cool her dragon that she got on her arms and shit. Yeah, she got all that when she was like 11 years old.
Yeah.
And that made me retreat a little bit. I was like, "Oh, are you sure? Aren't you a bit young?" It really made me retreat a bit. I was like, "Oh, don't let your dad see that."
Then she goes back home, right? She gets home to what?
Yeah, and you basically
blood on the floor.
And yeah, she gets set up for killing like this dude from I think he's like from another gang, but like they're a gang that's friends with their gang, so like they're not rivals, but like he was staying at their house and like he gets killed and Saya basically gets set up for it, and like they're basically telling her dad that like she's got to pay for her sins. So she comes in there badass, and then you find out why she's missing fingers. She just comes in and is like, "I'll pay for it myself. Like I didn't kill this dude. It happened, but like you can't blame my dad for it." And like they're like, "You can't just pay for this in fingers." So they basically make her dad commit seppuku in front of her and promote her brother to becoming head of the family. So that's how she ends up running away with the sword and joining King's Dominion.
Yeah, the brother's so despicable.
Despite the ongoing and escalating violence in this, it is amazing how there are still sequences that make you wince and retreat.
Oh yeah,
this was a hard one. This was a difficult one to read, like because he's a nice man, isn't he? The dad and the daughter just wants the daughter, and Saya's just heart wrenching because it's not just the physical violence, like there's an emotional violence in this as well.
Mhm.
And that's just done in one vignette, flashback vignette.
I'm glad you pointed out the emotional violence, because that's the only way you can call some of the shit that Rick does. Like this next thing that he does, making you think that Willie's still fucking alive, because you're like, oh wow, Marcus and Maria made it. So then, like all of a sudden, you get this really great scene with Willie and Marcus smoking a joint, on the beach, talking to each other, and you're like, and you realize that it's just Marcus imagining it. And
what I thought when I read this sequence here, I thought he writes characters as well as Matthew Rosenberg. He finds those voices as well. He has he has the emotional weight of maybe what Jeff Lemire has. But then at this point, he does all these surprise kills, and each one shocks you. And then he brings all the three characters back in the space of a couple of issues, and each one shocks you. And then he turns it on his head again by bringing one back, but it's not really. It keeps you guessing so much. And and there's only one of the writers that I can think consistently tricks you as much as that, and it's Cy Spurrier. Now, if you're telling me this is a combination of Lemire, of Rosenberg, and Spurrier, I mean, those three on their own are in the conversation for some of the best modern writers. It's ridiculous.
Don't want to go off on a huge tangent, but speaking of Cy Spurrier, coming back to do Hellblazer with DC, man.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're doing a new miniseries, which is kind of how DC...
Same creative team, yeah.
Yeah, him and Aaron Campbell. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Woo! DC. You get some of my money. DC's going to be getting some of my money. All right, back to Deadly Class. I don't want to go off on too big of a tangent there.
Oh, yeah, Rick's evil like that, man. That making you think Willie was alive, man. Bastard.
So now, after that beach scene, then we go back to what?
The school.
You get that little moment with him and Maria, which is cute. You get a flash. Okay, yeah, back to school where Quan calls up the brother. What's going on? Blah blah blah.
And basically tells him that he's got to find a way to discredit Saya, even after she's gone. Like they got to make it look like she's the worst person possible. So basically he tells Quan that he's got to find some dirt on Saya, and that's kind of his next evil thing. And meanwhile, Master Lin's trying to find out what happened to Saya. So he brings up our new crew, Quan, Helmut, and Tashwami, and he's trying to find out what happened to Saya. And they're figuring basically Tashwami doesn't like anybody, so Master Lin figures he'd flip on everybody easily, but he shows that he actually is a homeboy here, and he's just I didn't see anything. I don't know where she is, man. Which is pretty cool. Good character development. Yeah,
he gets his moment because he was more of an afterthought up to this point as a character. Well, he didn't really have a major role because he's a loner.
He's their Fulci. Everything sucks to him. It's bullshit.
True, so true. Fucking Fulci.
But he's got a point. He's a very angry native kid, and he's got his reasons, but yeah, he's very anti-colonizer. He's this arc is really good at growing his character, and his romance was with Zinzali, which we'll talk about. It's so sweet, it's so cute.
Yeah. Then you get then it cuts to another power struggle within the the kids that are ruling the school. Shabnab, his woman, Victor, and I forget, is it not
Steven? Steven's always he's always trying to play them against each other.
He's always trying to punk them. Yeah.
He's always the little agitator. Yeah, he's just there talking shit.
And this is where Petra's kind of on the cusp.
She fucks Brandy up, man.
Yeah, Brandy says something, and Petra she snaps. She goes all pearl on her ass. We're saying, she's just one comment, one something away from snapping, right? That crazy smile and Brandy managed to do it, and she blows poison in her face, and she starts puking up blood, and then she runs away.
And it ruins Brandy's voice. You get a lot of Brandy voice jokes for the rest of the book.
Yeah. So So this is where Quan goes into Saya's room, right?
Yeah, and finds her journal and finds out that how she let Marcus live. She stabbed him in a way that like it kind of went through between his lungs and missed his spine.
Fine,
And
yeah.
and her blade was soaked in a poison that slowed down his bleeding, his heart, but didn't kill him. And she revived him, got him out of there, and told him where Maria was, and told him never come back to the school. Just disappear, bro.
Yeah.
That's still going through his liver, though, isn't it? Straight through his liver. Bump, liver and kidney pie. That's what we'll be having after that blow. Like there's a few vital organs missed off that little
that little diagram. The anatomy chart.
There's bits enough.
Oh well, it's a comic.
Allow it.
So basically, Saya says where in the journal where Maria is too. So Quan has a general idea where to find Marcus now. So he goes back to call Saya's brother and kind of lets him know that like, I know where they're at. And he's like, okay, well, you got 3 days to go find this Marcus kid and bring him before Master Lin. Otherwise, like, forget what he says he's going to do. But, like, he threatens him. He's always
yeah. So what does this do? This instigates a new road trip, right?
A new road trip. But before that, you find out that Victor also knows all about Quan's dealings and shit, and basically tells him like, hey dude, you work for me, I killed Saya, but like anything you find out from now on, you let me know. So like this kind of like, it precipitates a new road trip, but there's also going to be like a big 3-way battle coming up. Another one.
So
at this point I kind of felt, we're retreading retreading this sort of thing, and then I thought to myself, well, that's being a little like overcritical, if anything, because I mean, this dude's no place, if you know what I mean. Like they're not doing this stay in one place, and it kind of makes sense that once a year or whatever they will go on these kind of things, because that's what you do when you're young, isn't it? You go exploring.
Yeah, spring break, man. That's what spring break is.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, before the road trip, we get the love story between Helmut and Petra, which is great. Basically, after messing up Brandy, Petra kind of becomes a goth again, and she's talking to Billy's grave, and she's, I guess, kind of talking about maybe self-deleting, and Helmut comes to her, and he's basically like, does the Kenny Fisher, oh no, baby, please, you are far too fine to look so sad. He tells her like there's like lots of wonderful things to live for, and like he takes her to like this 7-Eleven. She's like being a goth, like, what are we gonna do here? This is totally lame. And like he buys these burritos, and she's like, well, what are we gonna do with these? And like he's got like this burrito slingshot. They literally traumatize this old guy. It's hilarious. They shoot him with a burrito, and he's just like, why? I love this. So basically, like through traumatizing this old guy with a burrito, like Petra like wants to live again, and the Helmut saves her life. It's really sweet.
Just one night of fun. As a teenager, sometimes it just takes like one night of having fun, and all your worries disappear for a little while, right?
See, about the road trip and retreading it, I think that it's a good formula because it's a great way to really get to know the characters in a neat way. And the way that they did it, it's really good because there's a lot more tension going on. Like they all, like in the first one, like they all really got along. In this one, for the most part, they do, but like Tosami and Quan are like X factors. Plus, Zinzo, she's kind of still offish, aloof. She's not super trusting of these people yet, but she is. And this is what when they're leaving for the road trip, this is when you find out that like her letters that she's been writing to her parents this whole arc, they never get sent. Like she doesn't have parents anymore. She's an orphan, and God damn it, just like and like Saya learning that like just breaks her heart even more, kind of like really makes you like, man.
I think this is the point as well. Once this arc started ticking over, it's when I fully embraced the new characters. Like they weren't the new characters, they were just the characters now.
Yeah.
You have this great scene where like they stop for food and Tosami like finally pisses off everybody off, and they're telling them like, dude, you gotta like when you're with your friends, you gotta like not just throw everything in everybody's face all the time. You can have some fun with us. And basically, him and Quan finally have a throwdown, and Quan's like, "I'm not getting back in the car with that guy. Either he stays here or I stay here."
More shit jokes.
And like he goes and hangs out on this slide. He's at
a little kids park, like a kids whatever you call it, like in kids park with a slide and the monkey bars and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh, good grief.
And like he apologizes and like and then and it's all good. Like Quan forgives him and he goes down the slide. He's like, and like he gets to the bottom and he's like, "Ew, what did I hit in the middle that slowed me down?" And he's like, "Oh man, a kid shit in here." And like Toshami's like, "Is it safe?" And he's like, "Should I?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, it's totally safe. In fact, come down head first."
It's super fun, yeah. Slide through shit, yeah. More poop jokes. More
So,
poop
like,
jokes.
they become pretty good friends at this point, and
Yeah.
but
They
like,
squash their beef.
but like at the expense, everybody's talking about how bad it stinks. So they finally get to the hotel that they're going to in Mexico, and by dumb luck, man, like right off the goddamn bat, they run into Marcus.
Yeah. Quan sees him on the phone.
Quan
Goes
sees
to
him.
goes to Billy Club him because that's who he's been looking for, right?
Marcus
And,
hears Maria yell, "Oh my god, oh my god," and like comes around the corner and
Petra.
and she sees Petra's there, and this instigates like the party time, kind of like at first Marcus has them all held at gunpoint and he's trying to figure out why they're there to kill him, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, he's very, very suspicious of why they're there, and they found him and stuff. Yeah,
which he has good cause for, because like literally Petra or nobody else knows why they're there. Quan knew, but like Quan didn't really expect to find him that fast and that easily, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. And then you go to the scene where it's revealed that Zenzele, her letters, it's revealed to the whole school, right? That's Brandy, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't she?
Yeah. They flash back to like before they went on their road trip. There was a pep rally, and Brandy tried to out Zenzele as being kind of like a psychopath, basically. And Toshami like just gets up and like hits Victor with the skateboard. They basically cause a riot at the school. And that's why they're going on their road trip. They kind of really need to get out of town. They might like be like completely
let things cool down a bit, right? Yeah. Then we go back to Puerto Peñasco one day later, and they're all in the hotel room with Marcus being a little dramatic, pointing guns at people, asking questions. Why the fuck are you really here? Blah blah blah. So then they're like, dude, we all put our weapons away, so why don't you put your weapon away? So then the temperature in the room comes down a little bit, comes down quite a bit. Yeah. Then of course, Petra introduces what?
Ecstasy, man. She got a whole bag of Molly for everybody.
What does one of these Rick Remender road stories need? Lots of drugs. So they all pop E. Except for Zenzele. She's like, no, I don't do that shit, right? So
she does eventually, though, don't she?
Oh, yeah.
No, she doesn't do the drugs, but her and Toshami kind of make out.
I thought she did.
I thought she did as well.
No, she says she won't do the drugs, and he's like, well, that's cool. I don't want to. That's fine. I like, but just let yourself go a little bit, and like they
love this fucking layout. This page with the panels, so good. The progression of the just the high kicking in, the feeling, the touching. It's so well.
Helmet pukes in the sink, and he's like, "What the fuck's going in?" She goes, "Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to say. There's a little bit of heroin in there, just a teeny bit." And he goes, "But once you puked, it's going to really hit you, just a teeny bit."
That's how it kicks in, basically, right?
Yeah.
So you have these really dramatic scenes where like they're like having like kind of heart to heart, saying these important things, but puking directly afterwards, which is
Look, Johnny, look. She takes it right there, man.
Does she? Okay.
Yeah.
After they talk, he's like, "It's cool. You don't have to." And then she's like, "Oh, maybe." Then she has like a very personal moment with Tashawi, and so she takes it, he takes it, and then they kiss, and then it's
Party time for a little bit.
everybody's banging. It's like like everybody in front of everybody. It's,
when Helmut's hitting on Petra or hitting on Maria, it's really funny. Maria's just like, "Oh, I just love Marcus. That's okay."
yeah. It's like a dumbed down version of Eyes Wide Shut basically is going on in this little hotel room.
I love the way he draws this scene with the hotel room, like just the perspective of like,
and the palette, the change in the color palette too, where really everything's vibrant, colorful. It looks fun to muted, dirty, scuzzy.
But what's really cool is like Kwan's standing over in the corner by himself because he knows he's the little shit. He knows he's screwing everybody over. But Marcus comes and starts talking to him, and he starts telling him like, "I know what it's like to be the little shit that nobody likes, man. And you don't have to be that guy." Like they hug and stuff, and like he actually changes the character, like which is pretty cool because like Kwan had screwed him over. He had called Victor and everybody and let them know where they were. But then he tells Marcus and them.
He fills them in on what's going down. Yeah, he finally fesses up.
So this arc ends with Victor thinking he's going to storm the place, but like it's empty, and Marcus is behind him going, "Hey Vic, what's going on?" After he stabs Brandy, which it's good to see Brandy finally get stabbed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Isn't that nice? It's a satisfying little moment, Brandy getting. I think is it Kwan's? I think it's Kwan's jackknife too.
Yeah. So she gets Petra messing her up, and then Marcus gets a little vindication against her here too. So it's a pretty good, like it's another arc that like has a cliffhanger, but it's not one of the actual usual brutal Remender cliffhangers where you're just like, "Rick, you son of a bitch."
Yeah. And this book has all the covers, variant covers. It has a bunch of scripts for the story. You have page layouts, roughs, inks to colors. I mean, there's a lot of back matter in this, like process stuff. So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's a beautiful production. Image does a good job with their hardcovers usually.
Yeah, like how many pages would you say that is, Matt? The back matter.
It's 400 and something pages. I was looking at them on Amazon. They're 460.
But just the back, I would say the back bit was probably about 20%. So I'd say maybe, not 20. It's like maybe 10%. So 40 pages, something like that.
Yeah, I'd say it's a solid. Yeah, at least 40, 50 pages of process materials, back matter. They throw a lot in that book.
Can you just bring the image back up, the overhead shot of the hotel room?
Yeah. Okay.
If that's okay. Especially with the color tones and the way that the shot's actually constructed. Does that remind you in any way of David Adger's work on My Life as a Weapon, the Hawkeye series?
A little bit, but like...
Because he used a lot of different POV sort of rotation.
Did he do like that type of isometric overhead shots a lot? I didn't really read too much of that, man. Like I wasn't the hugest fan of Matt Fraction, so
yeah, he did a lot of sort of changing POV.
For me, it really reminded me of like the work of Brian De Palma, like Brian De Palma films. He did a lot of overhead shots like that, as well as Wong Kar-wai, who is a Chinese director. He did like Feel Like Love and a bunch of really good stuff, which I know like Rick's a big Asian movie fan, so I think that probably, but I would say it's probably more inspired by films than I would say probably other comics. I would.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying there was anything derivative. It was just in that specific page because it was using a lot of the purples as well. There was like that kind of purple wash and a lot of. I think it's David Adger anyway, or however it's pronounced. But yeah, it's just something I saw.
I've heard it.
Everything right?
I've heard it. It's either Aha or Aja. I've heard it either way.
Yeah, in my head it's Aha, but I've heard it's being spoken Adja or whatever.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. I think is the simple answer to that one, Johnny.
But goddamn, man, we actually got through it, and we were able to tell like all the plot points. We kept it very concise. Like there was a lot to this book, man. There was so much story, so many new
Good stuff.
And, like we were even able to talk about Polly and Straight Edge Dan. So damn, Polly on that shirt.
I'm really happy that we're doing one of these a month because from the very first page of the first deluxe, I would have shot through this a couple of weeks ago. So having the
scheduled once a month,
the schedule, having like the determined once a month. I'm glad I've got more of this to look forward to. Really good. Well done, Johnny. Great choice.
And man, highlight for me was issue 26. Marcus, Maria making their reintroduction into the story is fantastic. That was the highlight for me. I love that issue. And of course, I like all the fart and poop humor. Is always fun in these, which seems to be a reoccurring theme in this book. The fart and poop humor.
Oh yeah, like even to the end, man. Like
yeah.
No complaints from me.
Like in the last book, like there's a really funny enema scene. Like I don't spoil it, but like
don't spoil it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. This was part 2 of a 4-part series we're doing with Matt called Sunday Spank, where we're covering the deluxe editions of Image's Deadly Class by Rick Remender and Wes Craig. So I hope you enjoyed it. We love reading it. I love talking about it. And I love talking about it with these two fine gentlemen. So, man, part 3 will be coming at you sometime within the next month. We don't have a set date yet, but we'll set something up and drop it on socials so you could keep an eye out for that. So how about you guys? What were your final remarks or highlights for this second edition?
I don't know. It's just so hard, isn't it? It's just moment after moment after moment in it. Just the whole breathless pace of the whole thing, and just being constantly surprised. So it's so hard to choose. I think for me, it's probably when they go on the trip, because I had such a hesitancy before it that. And especially with the characters, I was like, oh, it's going again because the old guys reintroduced and it's meshing it together. I felt like there was more homogeneity to the story at that point. And then to see them all together, and it was at that point where I was like, no, this is now the story. These aren't like I said, they're not the new guys. This is where we're heading for it. And that's when I felt like I was comfortable with it, and I felt like I could exhale a little bit with the story. So I think that's when I really, That's your answer, Joe.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I read through this one, I think, a little quicker than the first one.
I'm just really happy like we're doing this and like how concise like we're keeping these, man. Like we went through the whole thing. We had a wonderful discussion. We kept, oh man, like I'm really happy with how this turned out. So thank you guys.
Excellent.
Our pleasure.
And before I go, if anybody likes what I've had to say, I'll just say I am from the End Pod with my regular co-host Tim. We also have Joe that appears. Well, it's been quite frequently recently, hasn't it? More often than not over the last couple of months, and then we probably won't have him on for another 6 months. That's the way it usually works. But it's the End Pod. You'll find us on all listening locations.
Your next episode, you are actually doing a couple movies, right?
Should be up later on today. We usually try and get uploads for Mondays. We did It Lives Inside and Saw X, and not spoiling it if you were going to look, It Lives Inside, I am quite confident in saying, if I were to have a list, it is one of the worst 10 films I've ever seen. It's like all the good things that made Talk to Me. If all the absence of the shitty tropes and the bad dialogue and the bad jump scares, and they extract all that to make a good film, and then what's left over they put into It Lives Inside. It is comically bad.
I'll stop you there. That's your teaser for the end pod episode 2. You don't want to give it all away. You don't want to give it all away here. They won't go listen to your episode.
Oh, mate, that was this. I went fucking nuts in this thing. There is about this 20 minutes. I think Tim was just sat there nodding, going, "Yep. Yeah, I think he was like trying to see if he had any contacts for me. It's like, do you need me to call somebody for you?
Yeah. I've witnessed a few of your rants, so I know how it goes.
Oh, if you think the Chris Hemsworth isn't funny rant with something, just wait till you hear this.
Yeah,
it's out. It's the height of just too much.
Awesome. Looking forward to listening to it. So Johnny, any closing?
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow evening, normal time, 7:00.
7 Central, 8 Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be having David Papose and Alex Carmack on. We're gonna talk about The Devil That Wears My Face and lots of other stuff because they are amazing talents and lots to talk about. And on Tuesday, we're going to have Cookie on at 7:00 again. We're going to be doing a really quick hot flash for Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, talking about teddy bear murder. It's going to be fun.
Then Thursday, we have Keith Cross coming on, who's running a Kickstarter for his latest edition of
Day Black.
He'll be on at 7 Central, 8 Eastern on Thursday.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we're gonna be on almost every day. Like Wednesdays, I think the only day we don't have a show.
Friday, I think we have Friday off too.
Friday, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
You consider that the weekend. I get it.
But
all right,
we've got lots for you guys coming up, so we'll see you then. Take it easy, y'all.